floating small town for 8,000 people, with building costs totaling 1.5 billion euros.
Müssen wir ein paar Kreuzfahrten verkaufen, damit wir das wieder zurückkriegen.
On board, it's pure luxury for the super rich. The personal butler, or royal genie, looks after the well-being of the suite's guests.
The genie factor, I think, it's that trust that you build between your guest and yourself.
The 362-meter-long Colossus is propelled by 131,000 horsepower. In the belly of the ship, 6 giant diesel engines run around the clock.
If we talk about a lot of horses, I would say they are very hungry horses.
6,300 guests have to be cared for. The kitchen produces 30,000 meals every day.
The pressure is on, so we have to make sure we have the right food on the plates.
Barcelona Harbor. The Harmony of the Seas awaits its new guests. Touring with 6,300 passengers and 10,000 suitcases, the round trip through the western Mediterranean Sea lasts for 7 days. Hectic loading and a thrill of anticipation on Deck 5. This is the Royal Promenade, known as the beating heart of the ship. A shopping mall covering around 150 meters of bars, restaurants, and shops. Deputy Hotel Director Giuseppe Campagna supervises the guests' check-in.
Today actually is a very busy day. We have about 6,200 people leaving the ship in the morning, and then right after about 10:15, 10:30, we have 6,000 to 6,300 people coming on board.
For their flagship, the shipping company relies on high-tech. Upon request, each guest can buy a WOW band for €5.
So these are very easy things to keep always with them. You know, they just put it in their wrist like a watch, and they can go to a bar and buy a drink, and then pay just by tapping the band in the deposit reader that we have in all venues, bars, restaurants, if you want to buy a tour.
The newest ship in the fleet has super-fast satellite internet coverage. Passengers and crew, totaling over 8,000 people, can surf the web at the same time. There are also computer monitors around the ship to help passengers find their way.
One of the features that helps with this is our digital signs around the ship, and touch screens that we have around the ship are called wayfinders. So with these wayfinders, which are located in every lobby areas, forward and aft of the ship, where the elevator lands, guests can just go and look for their stateroom, an example.
A few levels below, the loading of cargo is underway. In Barcelona, the ship receives tons of fresh groceries. 8,000 kilos of beef, 7,000 kilos of chicken, and 6,000 kilos of pork for every week. The head of kitchen, Franz Blum, has to cater for over 8,000 people every day.
It really is such a massive ship. It's 350 meters long. That certainly isn't anything to sniff at, and you can really see this main artery runs the whole length of the ship. So that's the heart of the ship where everything happens. All of the deliveries come through here. This is more or less the ship's lifeline. We have over 2,000 employees. Within the fleet, we have ships with 2,000 guests. In relation to the ship, this is of course very impressive.
The relation to the ship is not so beeindruckend.
The 46-year-old checks the storeroom. If the deliveries aren't top quality, then Bloom sends them back, and the contractors will stop receiving orders. With the amounts that are needed on board, the head of kitchen can't simply take trips to the market on the fly. He needs 12,000 kilos of just melons alone every week.
For example, the bananas. There are 3 different stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. The bananas come in different stages, so there are ripe ones that are ready to eat. Then we have those that need a bit more time and those that can't be eaten at the moment. By the end of the cruise, after 7 days, those are ready to eat.
Franz Blum has been working at sea for 7 years. But even for him, the Harmony is a new challenge, especially with regard to its logistics.
This is what happens with the chefs. The station heads with the red scarves place their orders a day ahead of time. They tell us what they need, and we send the order down to provisions where everything gets prepared. They will have everything ready in cartons for the chefs. They then take it up to the sanitation room, where everything is washed and put into plastic containers to go up to the kitchen. So we don't take any of these cartons to the kitchen at all.
The fresh produce comes from local producers in Europe. The frozen goods are delivered from the US.
Containers are delivered every week, so if you have 20 containers and you make a mistake with each container, that means 20 mistakes every week. This needs to be right again within 2 months, so you have to pay close attention when placing orders.
Franz Blum works 4 months in a row, after which he gets 2 months off. He and all other crew members work a 7-day week. The Mediterranean Sea cruise begins. All 2,744 cabins are occupied. The ship is fully booked. Captain Gus Anderson commands the 227,000 gross register tonnage Colossus. He has 6 diesel engines with 131,000 horsepower at his disposal. As captain, he can really put his foot down, reaching a top speed of about 45 kilometers per hour. The 3 so-called azipods drive the ship forward. These are propulsion nacelles which are attached under the hull of the ship.
Here are the controls for the 3 azipods. When we are at sea, as we are now, we have 20 megawatts on each of the azipod. When we do the maneuver, we have 10 megawatts. And of course, we can use them in combination, synchronized, or we can use them separate. So each of these are just the controls, obviously, but I can turn them in any direction, and then the motor, the propeller, is giving the force in the direction where I want it.
Flashback. In March 2016, the stainless steel propellers were attached to the propulsion nacelle. Each propeller has a diameter of over 6 meters and weighs around 26 metric tons. Later, a crane connected the azipods to the hull, accurate to a millimeter, and the azipods were then tested. The mega cruise liner was built in the STX shipyard in France. Chief Engineer Harry Kulmajärvi is responsible for observing the engine room and the azipods. The Finn commands the ship's control room, its technological heart. All areas of the mega cruise liner can be supervised from here. All error reports are also sent here. If a fire were to break out somewhere, sensors would immediately set off an alarm. Additionally, sensitive areas like the engine room are monitored with cameras.
Engine control room is manned 24/7. We have 3 dedicated second engineers who are rotating in 4-hour watches. They have 3 people downstairs patrolling all the time in the machinery spaces and reporting him if there is something unusual, leakages, etc.
The control room is also in constant contact with the bridge. An emergency maneuver is regularly carried out. The on-duty officers have to be able to take over control of the azipods in just a few seconds, because in an emergency, the ship needs to be controlled from down here. During the exercise, a technician calls in from the engine room.
Okay, I will let you. We have an emergency telegram. So dead slow, half or full speed. If there is something wrong with their speed acceleration, so we can run the ship from here, but according to their commands. We have so-called dynamic position system. And there is a button in the bridge. You press it twice, and it stays. Ship will stay in the position with the archipods and the bow thrusters. If ship moves from the set point 1 meter, the satellite is bringing it back.
On this giant ship, the vacationers don't sense the waves below or the fact that the Harmony is gliding over the sea at around 40 kilometers per hour. The vacationers surf on artificial waves, fly on zip lines over the ship, play table tennis, or go rock climbing. Many different types of sports facilities are available on the 66,000 square meter sports deck. Thanks to Helen Francis and her colleagues, the vacationers are never bored.
So now we're on the Harmony of the Seas sports deck, where guests have lots to choose from. So you have the zip line, you have the flow rider, you have our newest attraction, the Abyss slide. You also can play on the sports court, basketball, volleyball. We've got competitions with the mini golf and table tennis. So there's so much on here as well. We also have our rock wall on deck 7, 2 on each side of the ship that guests can choose from. So there's lots here to choose from.
The passengers don't pay anything extra for the use of the sports facilities. Helen has been contracted by Royal Caribbean for the last 2 years. After completing her studies, the 25-year-old was looking for a job that combined sports and traveling.
So for sports staff, we work on the ship for 7 months, and then we have 2 months vacation, and it's up to us if we want to repeat that. It's not for everyone. For some, it's quite a long time from home, but for others, it's a great time to travel, see the world, and meet new people. And we do work every day, so before you know it, your 7 months is up. You're going home, and then you're having a nice, relaxing vacation, and then you're back doing the same thing, meeting different people and going different places.
Back to Chief Engineer Harry Kulmajärvi. As part of his inspection round, he checks on the engines that turn the giant propulsion nacelles in the desired direction. The Azipods themselves are driven with the energy from the generators, which are powered by the diesel engines.
So this is the one of the propulsion units, where Azipod itself is down in the water, below here, with big electrical motor, 18.8 megawatt. Here what we can see is the cooling unit. It needs a lot of cooling to remove all the heat out from the Azipod. And then for steering.
Hi everybody! Well, are you still dreaming of these places to visit? What do you like to do? What is your budget? Perhaps the Northern Lights, Antarctica, Vienna, Normandy, or bungee jumping in New Zealand? I'm Jackie Skelton with JR World Travel. I'm turning your dreams into a reality. Call me on 844-249-0190.
Motors, where we can rotate the Azipod 360 degrees, which direction is needed for the maneuvering or steering. So if we want to stop the ship from the full speed, we can turn around the boats and ship will stop in 5 lengths of the ship. Ship is 370 meters, 5 times that, and ship is fully stopped.
The chief engineer is also responsible for the diesel generators. Since the 16-cylinder engines are around 30 meters long and 15 meters high, the engine room is stretched over several stories.
This is the well-cylinder engine, where the piston diameter is 46 centimeter, stroke is 58 centimeter, which makes a displacement of one cylinder close to 100 liter. The power of the whole engine is 17,000 horsepower. If we talk about a lot of horses, I would say they are very hungry horses. Entire trip from Barcelona back to Barcelona, we are burning 900,000 kilos of fuel.
The giant ship offers 6 different pool landscapes and 18 whirlpools. On Deck 18, the new highlights are the water slides called Supercell, Typhoon, and Cyclone. As a group, they are cleverly named Perfect Storm. Helen Francis monitors the entrance to the slide.
We need to understand what are the busy times and what are the less busy times. So at the moment we're clicking how many people, so we've got a record, so we know how many people are coming, so we can make sure that we're open and we've got enough staff.
Only children taller than 98 centimeters are allowed on the slides. These safety regulations are strictly adhered to. Helen even offers tips on how to best go down the slides. The 25-year-old changes her post several times a day, making the job more varied. She has a special connection with her colleagues.
On all ships, everyone's leaving and coming at different times. So you're making friends and essentially family, always meeting new people, and it's so great. Copy. The good thing about Harmony of the Seas is that we all come together at the same time, and a lot of us are going to leave together at the same time. So as soon as we knew each other, after a week, we're all one family.
On the cruise liner, certain areas are strictly reserved for VIP passengers. Only suite guests are allowed in this restaurant. These guests also have access to a personal butler. Reino Varkevisser is the royal genie on board.
Can I make a reservation for the Royal Loft Suite? 2 people for tonight, 8 o'clock, please.
2 people tonight at 8 o'clock.
Wonderful. For our suite guests, it's especially when they want to get away from the hustle and bustle from the ship, and they would just like to enjoy a quiet meal. Of course, with the concierge lounge, in the afternoons we serve lovely cocktails and canapes from 5 until 8:30. Also for the guests with this amazing view, a great area to come and relax.
In the closed-off area for the VIP guests, everything is more lavish. The halls are wider. The facilities are more upscale.
At the moment we are on deck 17. This is where our Royal Loft Suites are on board the Harmony of the Seas. It's a private area just for the suite to stay here, so there is no traffic of people not living on this deck. This is exclusively only for the suite guests.
This 2-story loft suite is roughly 98 square meters in size, and for 2 people it costs about 15,000 euros per week.
Good morning.
Morning, Reno.
Oh, Rowan, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. How's the guests doing?
Oh, they're fabulous. They're like, wow.
Really?
It's a great room.
Oh, fantastic. They told me they were going to go to the beach. Listen, do me a favor. I need you to make sure that the guest gets the Star Class amenity list from our side. So please just leave it on their desk for them. Is there anything else that I need to know, or are they good?
Yeah, they're fine. They're pretty much happy.
Wonderful.
Happy with the room, and I would definitely give this for them.
We need to always anticipate the needs of the guests. It's all about surprise and delight. So we get a good idea of what our guests favor, what they like to do, and we actually go over and above that, and we suggest other things that they would probably not even have thought of.
The suite also offers a 20 square meter balcony.
Good morning, dear. How are you? I'm good, good. It's a lovely day out there today.
In the meantime, the Harmony has made a stop in Marseille.
The times have changed. People, there is a need for a more expensive, a bigger suite that comes with different amenities. And we need to keep in mind, even though that we are on a ship, we would like to keep ourselves in line with what the rest of hotels on land has to offer for their guests, and make it a special occasion, a special experience, so that they would come back.
Flashback. In February 2016, the ship was still a giant construction site. More than 3,000 workers were working feverishly to finish the mega cruise liner at the shipyard in the French city of Saint-Nazaire. In numbers, the workers laid 2,500 kilometers of cable, 50,000 square meters of carpet, and used around 300 metric tons of paint. Vice President Raimund Scheider oversees the work on behalf of the shipping company. However, the ship still belongs to the shipyard. At this point, the Austrian native, together with his colleagues, are just guests on board.
Until a week ago, you were only able to see scaffolding and covers, and in the meantime, that is all gone.
A new design feature that even thrills a cruise ship pro.
The different sections move individually, and the face and the head turn in different directions every 15 minutes. In the meantime, the rings turn, and there is again a whole different sculpture, which can be appreciated 24 hours a day.
It took almost 3 years to build the biggest cruise ship in the world, and this is reflected in its price tag.
$1.5 billion, US dollars. That's what such a ship costs on average. So yes, we have to sell a few cruises to make that back.
Peter Roy is the environmental officer on board. He assures compliance with all legal requirements. The giant ship uses as much energy as a small town in order to produce, among other things, 2.1 million liters of drinking water every day.
This is a microfiltration unit, and right now, since we haven't left port yet, it's not operating. But this is 100 microns in diameter, so very fine filter that we have. And let's go take a look at our UV disinfection unit.
All wastewater is treated on board, and only clean water is pumped back into the sea.
Inside we have an array of UV bulbs, and like everything on the ship, we have double capacity. In case the system shuts down or there's a breakage, we can switch over to another unit. And our final system is ultraviolet light disinfection. So again, we don't use any harmful chemicals like chlorine to sterilize the waste. It's UV light, very high energy light. And what comes out looks like drinking water.
The Harmony has a new hull design and a new type of bubble system, a compressor that generates a carpet of microbubbles so that the ship glides smoothly across the sea.
So that actually gives us a boost of about 3% on fuel saving. Now 3% doesn't sound like a huge amount, but that over the course of a year, that will translate into millions of dollars of saving and a big reduction in carbon emissions.
This ship is not meant to be just another form of transportation. Rather, it's supposed to be a vacation spot with a built-in amusement park. Its enormous width of 66 meters inspired the designers to create a green oasis on board, with 20,000 plants and dozens of trees. The Harmony's revolutionary design allows for a giant green space in the open-air courtyard between the apartment blocks, known as Central Park, a unique experience for the vacationers. It's also a unique risk for the shipping company. With the ship's constant changes between varying climates, Chief Gardener Thomas Brownlee was initially skeptical that a park at sea could really work.
George, so we need to lift this module out and check underneath to see if the drain is clogged. So if you want to yank that up for me.
Okay.
So in Central Park, as I mentioned, everything here is real. And from a distance, it looks like what you would see at your home, plants and soil. So this module can only go here. It won't fit anywhere else in the park. So it is just like a jigsaw puzzle.
A fully automated irrigation system is used several times a day. On particularly hot days, the plants are also watered by hand in order to keep them cool.
If the plants want to survive, they have to learn how to adapt. And some will and some won't. And over the years, we've figured out what plants will do very well and what plants just won't.
The sound of chirping birds in the park is merely a recording. However, on occasion, real birds do visit the park. And Thomas Brownlee once hosted a pink flamingo in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I mean, the strangest thing.
Hey everybody, I am your professional travel consultant. You know, there's nothing we cannot do, from cruising, resorts, hotels, tours, car rentals, international air. I am Jackie Skelton at JR World Travel. You are our client first, and after that you are most definitely our friend. Remember, we are your go-to for travel. Call me, call Jackie, 844-249-0190 today.
The thing that I found pest in my plants was New Year's Eve on the ship is always a big party. And January 1st, early in the morning when we all came out to work, I found a couple in the bushes, deep in the bushes. She was in a beautiful evening gown and he was in the tuxedo, and they were just out. And when I finally got them to wake up, they had no idea they were on a ship, and they had a little too much party the night before, and we eventually got them out of my bushes.
There are several specialty restaurants in Central Park, with prices ranging between 40 and 60 euros per head. Even more expensive are the high-end stores. Chief Butler Reino Varkevieser is on a shopping spree.
Right now I'm picking up a gift for our Royal Loft Suite guest. It's his wife's birthday tonight, and he asked me to get something special. Rashid, how are you?
Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, thank you very much. Shall we go in and show me?
Sure, please.
Thank you.
Wealthy customers are able to splurge on board just as easily as if they were in a luxury mall in Milan or Monaco.
Thank you, Rashid. So I believe you have a package for me for the Royal Suite.
Yes, this beautiful piece. This is one of the most exclusive collection we have it on board. You know, the Egyptian queen, Cleopatra, her favorite snake, Serpente, and this value goes to 57,000 US dollars.
Fantastic. Okay, well, would you mind to prepare it for me? And I'll pick it up just before their dinner tonight.
Reino Varkevieser works for his guests around the clock.
In buying the gift, I always make sure that the guests obviously first see it and give me their input. I can only advise them and point them into the right direction of where to get a special gift like this. You must understand that the guests trust us to stay in their suite or to deal with their belongings when they might not be on board. That is part and parcel of the genie factor, I think. It's that trust that you build between your guest and yourself to deliver a personalized service of this level.
Chef de cuisine Franz Blum commands around 250 chefs and 100 kitchen helpers.
Morning, Jack. How are you?
Morning, chef.
All good?
Yes, chef.
What are we having? Soup?
Hearty beef soup.
Hearty beef soup, very good. And with the stock.
This is the meat broth that we need for the soups later. We can take the entire lid off or open it at the bottom, like a faucet.
Only the soups are prepared the day before. All other meals are made fresh daily. With 8,000 people on board, this means the kitchen crew needs to work 24 hours straight.
Very good. How many portions are you preparing for tonight? Huh? 1250, good.
That's a large amount. On average, in order to make soup, we need around 8,000 kilos of poultry bones a week. And the same goes for the beef bones to make the sauce. That really is a lot.
The energy consumption is monitored meticulously.
This chart has been planned for the Harmony. It's the first ship that has it. It monitors our energy consumption, so we can look at how much energy we need and how hot the kitchen is. When the kitchen reaches a certain temperature, we look here to see how much ventilation we need. So more or less, we can look at the curve here to see how much electricity we use each day. And here you can see the highest and lowest amount we have used. It's also monitored in Miami.
The 46-year-old tries to keep calm under all circumstances. In his experience, using pressure to lead a large team like this will not work.
That's the worst thing about cooks. They're always ready to criticize but never ready to praise. You have to stay positive.
Now it's time for the taste panel.
Hello, hello. Evening, everybody. So, let's do the tasting. What we have today? Want to go through or want to run through?
Each chef has to present a sample plate from the dish they intend to serve the guests in the evening. Franz Blum samples the food.
Nice. Mehr oder weniger machen wir jetzt einen.
This is more or less the final confirmation of the menu, since a lot has already been tasted throughout the day.
The chefs come from all over the world, and each one brings their own mentality to the table. Therefore, the boss needs to have cultural sensitivity.
The crew on board is made up of 72 nationalities. That's really interesting. At the end of the day, you have to respect people, where they come from, because of course everyone is a little bit different. The culture is different, even the way things are understood. You have to adapt and take care of how you speak to people or what they want. It's very important to be able to understand each person.
In the evening, the Harmony sets sail for Italy. It's time for Vanessa Bauer to start her shift. The 19-year-old figure skater is part of the show ensemble and needs to get ready. After winning the German Junior Championship and completing high school, the Berlin-born figure skater signed up for a tour on the Harmony where she can pursue her hobby as a job and also travel.
As a skater working here on board, the most important thing is to shine on stage, to get people excited about ice skating, and to show them that you're having fun on the ice, and of course to fulfill the technical elements. But really, the most important thing is that you convey that kind of show feeling.
Before the show, the figure skaters meet up for a feedback session. Vanessa is the youngest in the group and still needs to get used to life on board. But her team is supportive.
We're all a team, a group. We want to present a show together. We want to entertain as a group. And that doesn't work if you just think of yourself and do your own thing. We're a good team.
Vanessa is not one for stage fright. She loves to finally be able to perform in front of a big audience. The ice rink, Studio B, holds about 1,000 guests. Vanessa and her colleagues put on a show 4 to 6 times a week. The Crusaders meet up at the Royal Promenade in the evenings. Here they find pubs, cafes, and the latest attraction, the Bionic Bar, where 2 robots mix drinks and dance to driving beats. Guests can put together their own drinks and choose from a wide range of spirits. Additionally, there are 16 types of juices and sodas for mixing. Like elsewhere on board, payment is made by boarding card or WOW band. If the drinks run out, the robots will make it known, requesting a refill. Jasna Carrasco and her colleague Ayudia get to work immediately.
So we go to 3-5.
Jasna has been working on cruise ships for 10 years, but it's the first time that she has robots as colleagues.
Yeah, the robot has name, yes. She is Mix, he is Mingo, and they are working very good.
Jasna and Ayu close the bar several times a day. The robots and particularly the mixing vessels need to be cleaned and disinfected. In addition, the 2 bar ladies help the customers with placing orders on the tablets.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to Bionic Bar.
Thank you.
Would you like to order a drink?
Yes, please.
Okay, please, can you put your CPAS card here? Yeah.
This?
You go to Classic. Here we have more cocktails, okay?
Yeah.
The same. You can press, you can see recipe, and then you go back, okay?
Okay.
This part is very nice. It's very fun,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Enjoy.
When the cocktail is ready, the robot places it on the bar. Only the person who has ordered the drink will be able to collect it with their boarding card.
Okay, Aline. And the robot will give you the drink. Excellent.
Thank you.
Enjoy. This is like a new toy for the gentleman, you know. They really enjoy. They like to create the drink. They feel like they are bartenders, you know. They really enjoy.
The Harmony is a seagoing 5-star hotel with an entertainment program. On Deck 3, there is the Arcadia Theater with 1,400 seats. Ken Rush is the onboard cruise director.
Okay, so we're almost all ready, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everything's all good for the show?
Yes, we are, Ken.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. All right, so we're going to start right on time then, yeah?
Great.
And just a reminder that I'm going to have McKelly come out with me as well. So we'll do it in English and Spanish, okay? But I only still need the one microphone.
We use one microphone.
What we did with Grease is we took the very famous movie with Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. We took that movie, and of course it was...
G'day, Jackie Skelton here. Remember, experience counts when you choose a travel consultant. Ross and I have travelled the world learning how to travel safely and securely, believe it or not, with over 100 years combined. Remember to call me, ask for Jackie Skelton, JR World Travel on 844-249-0190.
It was already a Broadway musical, but we picked the best from the Broadway musical and picked the best from the movie, and we combined it into our own production. Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I'm over here on one of our balconies. How are you today? There we go. I do want to just maybe ask you this. Although music is an international language, maybe there's some people who don't understand what I'm saying right now. Espanol? All right, so I've solved that right now by bringing out my wonderful assistant cruise director, your activities manager. This is Michele. Michele, please, hablo español. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so exciting. This is Grease, like the movie from Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, and a Broadway musical. We put the two, the best of the both worlds, for today's show.
Y hoy para este espectáculo, como Ken acaba de decir, hemos puesto, es una combinación del musical.
Great. And you know what? This is what's so great about our company is that we have people from all around the world. So, you know, sometimes we have to bring an interpreter up to make sure they're all covered, but music's international, so everyone's going to love this show.
The tickets for the show on board are free. These costs are included in the vacation package. Everything is a bit bigger and better on the Harmony of the Seas. The main restaurant extends over 3 stories and the whole width of the ship. Nearly 400 waiters set the tables for the evening. Behind the scenes, Franz Blum is in charge. The meals are only served once the orders start coming in. The kitchen staff has 30 minutes to serve the first course to the guests.
The waiters have more or less ordered, and now we're trying to have the plates ready for when they come. And now I'm checking if it's done correctly and the way we agreed at the testing table. That's very important because this is crunch time. It needs to be right. Otherwise, the whole day's been a waste if it doesn't go out the way it's supposed to be.
Each station is responsible for one meal.
The waiters come and bring the tickets for their orders, and then they come back here and we see exactly what we need. We need a New York steak, the beef and pork, and then the steak.
The precise planning has paid off. Franz Blum and his staff are on schedule. The waiters do not need to wait long for their plates. After 1 hour and a half, the first round is over. At around 8:30 p.m., the second course will follow, again for roughly 3,100 guests. 400 waiters constantly switch between the kitchens and dining rooms on the 3 decks. Food in the main restaurant is included in the price of the cruise. Guests only pay extra in the specialty restaurants. What is also complimentary is the special atmosphere on the stern of the giant ship. Great shows take place during the evenings at the so-called Aqua Theater. The trained acrobats and dancers, who are especially chosen for this ship, put on an artistic show under the Mediterranean night sky. With 800 seats, the open-air theater is almost always sold out. Flashback. The highlight at the stern are the 2 slides. The name says it all, Ultimate Abyss. This should get everyone's adrenaline going. Stefan Spiller is responsible for the construction of the gigantic slides. The German engineer surveys the final work.
Basically, each slide is made up of 15 individual segments. This here is the 15th segment, and then there's a final run segment that connects the 2 slides. These segments will be hoisted here bit by bit and put onto these cantilever arms, which support the entire thing. They are the white pillars that you can see in the background. That's of course a big undertaking, partly because we can't always use a crane here on the upper deck because it's covered. So we have to work with chain hoists and boom lifts.
The cruise ship industry has to always offer new attractions. The shipping companies try to outdo each other. This led to the idea of installing a gigantic slide to entice even more vacationers. The individual parts were manufactured in Starnberg, Bavaria, and then sent to France for assembly. Even for Stefan Spiller, the numbers are gigantic. The slide starts at 47 meters above sea level. The passengers have to enter the mouth of a fish to push themselves into the depths. You can slide down the 66-meter-long tube at up to a speed of 9 meters per second.
Here's the entrance to the slide, this extremely spectacular fish. It's still in its final stages, and basically it is supposed to make people feel a bit scared, giving them goosebumps while climbing up the stairs. Up there's a glass floor 30 meters high. If you look down, the adrenaline already starts to rush before you even get into the slide.
Today, the engineer wants to test the slide himself.
Hi. So apparently we still have a problem with the traffic light. That actually this morning they reconnected the traffic lights, and now this one is shown red when this was supposed to. So we have to change this first because before we can go. Okay. So that's a mistake that happened this morning apparently.
The fitters are still at work.
This is one of our climbers, and we're just finalizing the slide. That means we're mending a few scratches here and there and getting rid of some white splashes of paint on the slide. The climbers are making everything look picture perfect.
Ready to go for the ultimate abyss.
If I'm to break the record, I have to slide down in less than 12.5 seconds. That's the current record. But when it gets a bit warmer, for example, when the ship arrives in the Bahamas, then maybe the record will be broken again.
The guests have to use special mats and lie flat to reach the highest speeds possible.
Oh, that was awesome. We still have to make it a bit more slippery and get rid of some construction dust, but then it will be fun.
The ship runs on heavy oil at sea and in the harbor. Therefore, large cruise ships are considered the biggest polluters traveling the seas. Environmental Officer Peter Roy opts for cleaning these emissions through modern technology.
The main engine room is split into two. So we have two exhaust gas stacks, and every engine is connected to the scrubber.
While in the harbor, at least one diesel engine needs to keep running in order to provide enough energy. Critics therefore don't like the fact that such a huge ship might be burning at least 150 metric tons of fuel every day, emitting more sulfur and poison.
Hey everybody! Welcome, I am Jackie Skelton, your licensed professional travel consultant at JR World Travel. Remember, we do it all for you, from cruising, resorts, hotels, tours, car rentals and international air. Here at JR World Travel, you are a client first and then definitely a friend. Remember, call Jackie. We are your go-to for travel. 844-249-0190. Call today.
Poisonous nitrogen dioxide into the air than several million cars. However, Environmental Officer Roy objects to this assertion.
So what you're looking at is a multi-story reaction chamber. Seawater's being sprayed in at different levels within the scrubber. And what's happening here, the effluent is coming down through this very large diameter pipe, and it's going to our treatment unit.
The system sucks in the seawater and sprays it into the exhaust gas from the engines. The dirt particles are captured. This means only clean gas gets pumped into the air. The impurities from the water are removed and the leftover water is pushed back into the sea.
We're achieving greater than 97% sulfur removal. We also achieve some nitrous oxide removal, even though this is not regulated. The system will also reduce that level, and it does a very good job as well of removing any particulates that happen to be left over from the combustion process. So it's achieving way above and beyond what's required by regulation right now.
After exactly 137 weeks and 3 days of construction, the Harmony of the Seas was handed over to the shipping company on May 12, 2016. A moment of celebration for the 2,300 crew members. The ship sails under the flag of the Bahamas. However, the shipping company's main office is in Miami. Therefore, the American national anthem is sung. "362 meters long, 66 meters wide, and 72 meters high. The ship really is gigantic. It even surpasses its sister ships Allure and Oasis. For comparison, in terms of volume, the Harmony is 5 times bigger than the Titanic. In the meantime, on its Mediterranean cruise, the Harmony has reached La Spezia harbor in Italy. While many of the 6,300 guests have booked one of the excursions on land, the hotel machinery on board is running at full speed. Head of housekeeping, Gregory Dawkin, is completing his checks throughout the ship. His destination? One of the new virtual inside cabins.
Hello. Morning, Frederick. How are you today?
I'm all fine, so.
Can I check? Are you ready for me? Okay, great.
Come my toilet already.
Yeah, looking very good. Nice and clean. Are you ready for our guests?
Already.
Okay, great. Just take a look here. You have the spot. Very good. Very nice. Excellent. Very good job. So we have the virtual balcony room, so they're not missing anything. They can see all the action that's going on outside. We have 4 cameras on the ship, and in the forward and in the aft, that is feeding the live shots from outside, so the guests can see exactly what's going on outside, and it's like they have a balcony in the room.
2,744 cabins need to be cleaned every day. Gregory's crew works under strict time pressure.
Romeo, good morning. How are you today?
Sir, I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
Each steward looks after more than 24 cabins.
I see this is very good, very clean, very nice.
Thank you, sir.
How far are you with this room? Are you soon finished?
Just start.
Yeah.
Because right now,
Your bed is looking good.
thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
This room, you have to make balcony washing.
Yeah. How far are you with your balcony washing? Are you gonna work on that now?
When we finish our rooms, right now we still have 5 more rooms to do.
Okay.
And after that, we're going to do the balcony washing.
Okay.
All in our section.
Okay. Okay. Everything looking good so far. Continue. Have a great day. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very much.
Yeah. We have a total of 10 supervisors, and each supervisor is assigned per deck. Now, each day we have inspection that is done, and over a period of 1 month, all the rooms are covered with the inspection. So we have a daily inspection tracking.
The washing is brought to deck 1.
Hello, Master. Good morning. How are you today?
Good, good.
How is everything going with our pillowcases?
Pillowcases, I didn't press yet, but I will try to arrange these people press this afternoon.
We'll be ready for boarding the operation tomorrow?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So afternoon we can press like 8,000 to 10,000 pillowcases.
Okay.
And I will try to finish all the duvet covers there.
And all our linen and everything will be ready?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's go.
So this morning we pressed like 12,000 napkin for the windjammer. 7,000-8,000 one napkin for the dining room, and 2,000, 3,000.
And we're working on duvet covers now?
Yeah, we are working for the duvet cover because tomorrow is important day.
Okay.
The bed covers from the 2,744 cabins are changed every 3 days. In order to do this, the laundry crew works restlessly. The laundry room is basically operational around the clock. The workload gets particularly heavy on formal evenings when guests want to dress up.
First formal night, we will receive approximately maybe 1,000 items to launder and press and to turn over in a very fast time. So laundry master, based on his scheduling, will have extra manpower to get the job done. So we always try to deliver by 5 p.m. so the guests have enough time to prepare for their formal night.
18 stories up, the vacationers are enjoying the highlight on board, riding the waves 70 meters above the sea. It looks easier than it actually is, since the water hits the surfers at high speed. One wrong move, and the fun ends with a crash. Helen Francis offers a few tips on how to master the board. The main thing is to stay relaxed. At the same time, she has to make sure that no one gets hurt.
You say it looks easy, but it's definitely one of the most challenging activities on board. It's the guests' favourite.
Helen would like to continue her job on the Harmony for a few more years. Like many other crew members, she has been hit with the cruise fever. The rule of thumb is, if someone survives the first contract and rehiring, then they will stay on. For Helen, the job is ideal. She can meet the whole world while surfing.
I get to interact with people on a daily basis. You know, a lot of the guests, we develop a relationship with them. We get to know what they like, what they don't like, and we get to just talk to them and get to know them. And also we get to meet good people within our communities, you know, down below within the crew. And we also get to see loads of places depending on what ship you're on. Yeah, it's good. It's a really good life, yeah.
In another 24 hours, the mega cruise ship will return to Barcelona, and 6,300 passengers will be impatiently waiting at the pier to embark on the new super ship.
Well, hi there, Jackie Skelton here. So you're stranded miles from home? You've opted for no travel insurance. Oh dear. The country you're in is going to require payment prior to being allowed to leave. I am Jackie Skelton with JR World Travel. Why do you need travel insurance? Call me, 844-249-0190.
you.